Let me see. Okay, so. Mm, oh, I know. I can tell you about the first time I went to a sex party. Okay, this was in Atlanta. I was down there with Sean and Courtney. And Miss Courtney, rest in peace. Anyway, um, it was a night before. It was after the club. It was before. It was before the club. And I think it was no. It was a night that we was not going to the club. I remember a club that night. I think maybe we went to the club and then we left early. It was something like it was like a early thing because we left at like maybe like 1 o'clock or something. And I didn't know where I was going. I was in the car. I was in the back seat, and Shannon Courtney was chopping it up in front. I don't know what they was talking about. I wasn't paying any attention. And we put up to an apartment complex. And when we got there, I was like, "Oh, whose house we up?" And there's like, "Bitch, you see when we get inside." I was like, oh, "Okay." We get in, and they paid money at the door. I didn't know what they was paying for. Then they handed us trash bags. They handed us trash bags, and they started taking their clothes off. And it was like, I was like, what is going on? What's going on? And it was like, you supposed to take your clothes off and put them in the bag. I was like, what is this? And then Courtney was like, bitch, this is a sex party. I was like, for real? Are you serious? So they had stripped down to their underwear, socks, and tennis shoes. This is before we had cell phones. So didn't nobody have no cell phone. We had no watches, nothing. It was just underwear, socks, and shoes. So there's like sheets hanging up. So like when you walk into an apartment, there's like a little area right there, and there's usually like a coat closet right here, and then you walk in, and then you enter the living room. So past that part where the living room is, there was a sheet up so you couldn't see over there. That's why I was like, what is going on? And then they put your clothes into the bag, and they give you a number. You gotta keep up with your number. So when it's time for you to leave, you just give them your number, and they give you the bag with the number, the corresponding bag. So they gave me my number. I was like, what am I supposed to do this? Bitch, it was like, bitch, you need to hold on to that because if you don't have that, you're not gonna give it your shit back. I was like, okay. So we go inside the apartment, past the sheets, naked niggas everywhere. I had never seen anything like that before. I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? So in the living room, there's a couch, two couches, a TV, and on the TV is some porn. And in the bedrooms, they have sheets and newspaper over the windows, so they're blacked out. So the bedrooms are black. Then the bathroom, of course, is open, but that's where you run your Hello Dolly past the car wash, so that you won't make a mess during the festivities. We was in there, and I was just going around the room, and I was looking at everything, and then somebody, the first time somebody touched you at a sex party, everything in you just starts screaming. Like, oh my God, this is not supposed to happen. It's too many people at one time. But then you kind of let it go. Plus, the motherfuckers in there was fine, so it was a lot of, what do you call it? Shit. was a lot of fellatio going on. Baby, some dude was on the floor, baby. She was getting railed by everybody. That's all you heard was, next. It was after about an hour or so in the dark bedrooms. So let me go out front, honey. So I go into the living room, sit down on the couch, watching the porn. And I'm just sitting there watching the porn. It's people sitting on the couch across from me, jacking off and everything. I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting there watching it. And then the porn went off. Somebody tried to fix the TV to get the porn back on. This was VHS times. VHS and DVDs was barely. When I say barely. So you had to rewind the tape. In the process, nothing's on the screen. Somebody was trying to fix it or something. They was trying to do something with it. And they hit it to a station. And bitch, why was it a televangelist on the TV? And when you just said, oh bitch, you got to turn that off. Yes. A whole sermon, baby. Was preaching. he turned the TV off until the tape had rewound, and it started back over again. And we were just going. I sat in the living room the whole time. Then Shauna Courtney was ready to go. Some hours. The sun was coming up, honey. It was like we had been in there for like 5 hours. Did I don't think I busted a nut. I don't think I did. I might have, but I don't. For some reason, I don't remember doing it. But if I did, I wasn't doing nothing. I'd probably just jacked off. I should have put on a sweater or some shit. It's cold. Then after that, we went back to the hotel, and that was it. That was the end of that. That was the first one that they took me to, which that one wasn't cute. But the next one that they took me to, oh, baby, somebody had rented a house in Midtown. Was it Midtown? I think it was Midtown, because it was close to downtown. It was a few streets over from the Underground Mall in downtown Atlanta. Baby, when I tell you, it was cars lined up the street. We pulled up, and I was like, is this another party? This was sometime later, some months later or something. And it was like, yes. Baby, we walked in, they collected our stuff at the front door. And bitch, when I tell you, now this is the party where I saw Martise at. Martise is the guy from Fisk that I was quote unquote dating or whatever, like when I was like 19. This is where I saw Martise. It was so many people. It was on the main level. They was in the kitchen. They was in the living room. They was in the back bedroom. It was a basement. They was full in the basement. It was upstairs. It was motherfuckers everywhere. I was like, oh my gosh. I had linked up with somebody. I don't know who. Of course, obviously I didn't know who it was. He was built like The Rock. The wrestler thing, The Rock, he was built like, and when I tell you, that thing had to be at least 11 inches, and it was gigantic. But it was something wrong with his nuts. It was like, it wasn't two nuts. It was the size of two nuts, but then it was like a tube or something on the inside of his nuts. Because I was trying to suck on his nuts, and it was not nuts. It was a nut, but it was an oblong nut. It was an oblong scrotum. I was like, why is it weird like this? And so that was the main thing that I remember from that. And then we stayed there for some hours, and then we left. That was the last time I went to a party with him.